Welcome to our system privilege video tutorial. In this video we will give you a brief explanation of how privileges are implemented in Jems, along with a real-life example of how to set up external expert user. Okay, so let's start. In order to access to system privilege, first of all you need to log in with someone who has access to the system. You can find system privilege in the model system on the top navigation bar. Within the system section, you will find that a list of users and a list of roles. So Jems comes up with 3 pre-configured roles: administrator, this is the one we logged in; applicant user, this is the applicant, the pre-configuration for the applicant. You notice that as this icon called default, that means that any user that is registered in Jems will get automatically applicant user role. And program user, this is the predefinition for what we found interact. We found that would be the optimal configuration for the JS officer or MA officer. Yeah, so in simple way, we have a tree. By the way, one user has only one role. So one user can only have one role. You have to select the role when you are editing the user. You see that only one role can be selected. So when you come to configure the role, by means the system privilege, you'll find something like this, which is basically a tree and is composed by a few sections. So the first section, it's for the, I would say, for the beneficiary. So this allows the user to create projects, to collaborate also in projects. That means the whole workflow of beneficiary. If you notice, we are in administrator, which has also the power to create projects at the same time, also do all other things. If we come to the applicant user, you'll see that it's only ticked to create content and so on. So let's take a look on program user. So a program user is a user who cannot create and collaborate project. I mean, it's now configured like that. And is allowed to monitor projects, that means access projects that he didn't create or is collaborating, right? Which is the typical case of a JS officer. And for each section you can set what it can do. Another section, by the way, that I forgot to mention is the top navigation bar. This top navigation bar is appears for both. Top navigation bar means exactly this top. It also includes system. It's in the top navigation bar. And you configure, you say what the user cannot or can do based on this configuration. So as an exercise now, we are going to create the role of external expert, and we will also see in real life how it looks like. So the first thing we need is to create in roles a new role. Matter of fact, I already created, sorry for it, but if you create it here, it's pretty much the same. So a role will also ask you to give a name for the role and the configuration of it. But since that I create already a new one, I have to reuse it. So I just gave the name external expert role, and this is the default. Everything is set on hide. So from this moment on, we have to understand, or we should have a clear view of what this role should be allowed or not, so that it gets better to you if you see it in parallel what a user looks like right now as external expert. So as soon as he log in, since that he has everything hide, all he has access is to a dashboard with nothing, not even nothing in the top navigation menu that is shown other than the dashboard. So on the right side, let's create the configured properly this role. So the first thing we have to decide is if this role is to create projects. I mean, if it's a beneficiary, it's not, it's external expert, it's more part of the program body that will inspect other projects, not create new ones. So let's start by thinking that. And here we see if the user should have access to contracting or not. So I believe not. External experts should not get access to monitoring, to contracting, so let's put it aside. Application form, yes, external experts need to see the application form in order to access it, so let's put it as a view. Possibly also the annex attached to the application form, view. Check and submit projects not, since that is not going to be part of that flow, we put it as hide. Assessment and decision, I believe so. We can even put as edit, let's say, or yeah, they should not be part of the decision though, and also not change the decision, so maybe we can just put it as a view. Revert decisions, return, start step, this is not the role of the external expert, so everything is hidden. Modification, also hide. This is quite straightforward for external expert. And on the top navigation bar, in the dashboard per se, as you see on the left, we have nothing at all. I think we should be we should allow him to see my applications. So in the context of the external expert will be the applications that he will do the assessment. So we will put this as view. The list of the calls where he can apply, it's not relevant for him. Let's set hide. Applications, also not. This is the list of all applications of the system. External expert in our exercise only will have access to a specific number of applications, so we set as hide. Calls, also not. You remember the top navigation bar? It's this one, all these models. So they are not relevant for the external expert. We can pretty much put hide in all. So we save the changes. Yeah. And in order to see how it looks now, we have to ask this user to log out and log in again. Let's log in again. Yeah, so this is pretty much what you can see. You notice that there's not so much because we hide everything related with the top navigation bar except the dashboard. And in the dashboard we just allow them to have my applications. But since that we didn't assign any applications to this user, you will not see any. Sorry for it, I forgot actually. So on the right side we are logged in as admin. Let's actually assign some applications to this user. So we go to the list of applications, we have this assignment, and here we can choose some projects to assign to him. Let's assign like 2 here, and I don't know, this one. So we are assigning 2 projects, okay? We save the changes, and now this user should be able to see his applications that should do assessment here. But for that, once again, he needs to log out. So we log out again, we log in. So here they are. And now we can go for one and see what they can see. And it should be exactly as we configured them. So you will notice that he will not have access to contracting, and it's not shown here. Or in the application form, he cannot do any kind of modification or assessment, so they are completely hidden from the whole left side menu. So that's it. We did it. This is how you configure your external expert role. You have a role and you have users. You remember that you assigned the projects to particular users, not to the role. Let's take a look again to double confirm. It's done on applications. We list all the list of applications, then we have an assignment, and external expert is the name of the user, okay? And we assign 2 projects, and that's what he sees here. If you notice in detail, we gave this external role permission to view the assessment and decision. But on our left, we don't have such section. What happened is that this project is in status draft, and in this status, the section assessment and decision does not appear no matter what. So even if you log in as admin and you go to this project, you will also not see it. If you want to see it, the project must go forward until approved. That's when contracting and so on will appear. We can still test it somehow if we assign also this external expert approved application. So let's try it. So we come again to applications, we go for assignment, and now we have to assign application that is on the status approved. For that I need to check first someone which has approved. Okay, so here we have 300 number. This project is approved. Let's see. So I assigned the user. If we go to the dashboard, yes, it's still not possible to see. User needs to log out, log in again. And now when we access to the project, we see that this status is approved, and now we have assessment and decision, even though it cannot do any change, just like we configured. Let's take a look. Assessment decision, view, no edit. Alright, I think this was it. I hope it was a bit explanatory, that you got more details about it, the whole process, and I guess now it's time for you to try out. Thank you.